At the start of the 2005 Supercross campaign, there were those that doubted him. After all, hadn't he lost the last 6 races of his last season in the stadiums? Sure, he had another perfect season outdoors, but could his surgically repaired knee withstand the rigors of 16 Supercross races? Did he not switch from the comfort of Big Red to the notoriously struggling Suzuki squad? But this was Ricky Carmichael, already a 3-time 250 Supercross champion, holder of 11 AMA Major Championships. He built this title run on consistency and domination. He survived the rainy Anaheim opener, and in Phoenix, he gave Suzuki their first 250 win in 7 years. That began a run of 5 in a row. Yamaha's Chad Reed won a thriller in San Diego, but RC put the finishing touches on his dominant first half, coming from behind in Atlanta and running away from the field in St. Louis. Since then, the wins have gone to his rivals, Reed and Kawasaki's James Stewart. But Carmichael has not finished off the podium this season, and he comes to Texas looking to clinch his 4th 250 AMA Supercross Championship. Can he do it while besting the most talented field in Supercross history? Can he deliver to Suzuki their first AMA 250 crown since '81? Can he come back from a year's absence on the Stadium Tour and return as the series champion? This is Ricky Carmichael, and I would not doubt him again. This 250 party started. It's time for Supercross. Our second stop here in Texas, and there's the man, Ricky Carmichael, looking to clinch a THQ AMA Supercross Championship. He already has that THQ World Supercross GP Championship in his back pocket. Reliant Stadium is the home. Cameron Steele, I'm Robbie Floyd. They had rodeo in here a month ago, but it's 2 wheel cowboys out there tonight. Ricky Carmichael, he may be the Ty Murray of the motocross scene.
Well, definitely. Ricky Carmichael, the cream of the crop. He has been on a mission this season. As we said before, he has won half the races, 7 races. But let's look at what he's done in his career. The championships. He has 11 AMA championships to his record already. He has won 70 Supercrosses up until this point right now, and he could make it 71 here tonight, but all he's got to do is get on the podium to clinch that championship.
Well, let's take a look at the THQ World Supercross GP points. You see Ricky Carmichael in the #1 spot. He clinched that one. LaRocco, the rest of the group, they're trying to filter down, find out where they will finish. In the THQ AMA Supercross Series points, again, we see Carmichael on top, that 30-point lead, and if all goes right, he could clinch his another championship this year. There's Ricky Carmichael on the starting line. He's calm, collected, ready to go. This may be his race. We've had some great racing these past few weeks. A lot of drama, let's just say that. With more, the third member of our team is Jamie Little.
Well, Robbie, as you can imagine, after the little incident in Seattle when James Stewart and Chad Reed got together on the start of the 250 main, there's been a lot of speculation. Whose fault was it? Who did what? Well, we decided to talk to both riders earlier today and get their take.
You know, it was just last weekend at Seattle. You know, it's just 3 of us trying to go in there, and all of us didn't want to let off. And I felt like, I was on the inside. I was one of the first there, and then Reed came around the outside, and we just kind of tangled. And that's it. I mean, it's either me or him. Either I go down, he goes down. I mean, you can choose over that. It's either me or him, and I'm not backing down. And like I said last weekend, I didn't mean to hit him, but I'm not gonna just roll over, and let him pass me like that. And like I said, I didn't mean anything to it, but it's either me or him, and I didn't want to go down.
I was mad and wanted to, just when I got on the bike, I was facing right at the triple, and I wanted to just let the bike go right on into him. But I knew that there was more to it, and I would hope that he wouldn't just do that. But I think he was in a position where Kevin was on the inside of him, and everybody was just met in the turn at the same time. So I wasn't mad once I saw the video or anything like that, and think that that's there's been a lot of talk about it, but myself and James haven't even had 1 word, never 2 words about it. So that's racing, and I know what to expect. I mean, when you're in a position to get the all shot and win the race, then you got to do what you got to do.
I don't know who was at fault in this with Cameron Steele. I think Reed was on the outside. He had to know what was coming his way. Let's take a look at the MX versus ATV Unleashed track facts. 7,200 cubic yards of dirt, 70% of it is clay. That means this thing is packed. It's really not going to go anywhere, but there is that 30% of sand. The riders like this track. It's long. I think this is the best one of the year. Let's take a look at our starting grid. Reed and Windham in there. Also, James Stewart, you see him with the ladder gate pick. That's because he wasn't in most of the series, because he's won 2 of the last 4 races.
Well, we don't have to wait for the possible fireworks, if there are any, after our start last time. And this is how they're going to transfer. In the heats, 4 will transfer. In the semis, 5 will transfer. And then 2 from the LCQ.
But who's going to get the whole shot? It looks like Kyle Lewis on the outside, but another punt by Bubba. James Stewart into the lead. And there was no contact. I didn't mean that literally punching him off.
Yeah, but now it's Chad Reed, the double 2, and James Stewart in the mix. Right there, let's see.
And Chad knew that Bubba was on the outside. No contact there, so maybe they put it behind themselves. Let's find out. You see the different ways of running the track. Bubba goes to the inside, sets him up, not able to get the pass there. This is really, honestly, the Dirtworks crew and Clear Channel did a great job with this track. There are so many different lines to take, Cameron.
And so many people were saying, oh, James Stewart's going to be the fastest on this track. Chad Reed was the fastest rider in practice. Wait for him to come into your screen, and you can see it's close. Let's watch him give the whoops off the Dragon's back.
Oh.
James, inside, but hey, he leaves space. He left space for Chad.
If he wouldn't have done what he did last week, I would not guess that he would have done that. That is how fast James Stewart is right there. He still squared it up and went underneath. This is what we've been waiting for, Cameron. And don't count out Kevin Windham back in third. This is close to his hometown track as he's going to find in the Supercross season.
Fact is Kevin Windham second place at our last round. Let's see if he can capture that speed, find that speed again to get in the mix. One person that really wants him to have that speed is Chad Reed. Chad wants Kevin to get in between him and Ricky, along with James. That would give him some hope for a championship.
49.97 was James Stewart's fastest lap in practice. He just turned a 49.05. He almost beat it by a full second, Cameron.
So James Stewart, a man possessed after winning the last round. And, you know, a lot of people are saying we are witnessing the changing of the guard in Supercross. They're saying this is the man that's going to be the future. He's taking out guys that are in their prime right now. Chad Reed is not giving up here, however. He's not ready to pass the torch along.
I want to go ahead and call myself out on this one. It was Bubba with the 50.3 seconds. So you had it right earlier. It was Reed and Carmichael that dipped into the 49s, but Bubba's almost dipping into the 48s. I mean, another chance that he's going to be a 48 second.
Well, one thing to really remember for those of you at home, they have groomed the track before they started racing. So a lot of those practice times were on a track that had been beat down, especially in the final practice. Now it's fresh. We'll see some faster times. But as the night progresses, we will see it break down a bit. We'll see it get loose in the whoops. We'll see more tires dropping in the front because a lot of riders saying they're having a hard time with traction there, and some of the obstacles will get tougher.
It's an 8-lap 250cc heat race. The top 4 move on to the final. Stewart, Reed, Windham, and Timmy Ferry, the Floridian in 4th spot. Sebastien Tortelli on the outside looking in 5th.
And Tim Ferry having a little bit of carburation problems today, and he went to clean out his motorcycle while he was riding back to the pits, and he didn't get it into neutral and knocked his mechanic off the back. Everybody's all right.
Not good.
Yeah, but his mechanic, Steve Mathis, wasn't all excited about it.
All right, James is fast. He's out in front, but I think Reed is every bit as fast, and right now he's trying to identify the lines that Bubba is taking, and we'll have to see if he's able to turn it up. I don't know if you give it away in the heat race. I say you wait till the main event.
Oh, and you see James Stewart coming a little bit short there off that Dragon's back. We talked about that being a little bit difficult coming through that whoop section. It ascends, then you step off over that next little double bump, and James able to clear that whole section. Look how much space he put on Chad right there in that one corner area.
This section right here is a lot of different, a little different options. We'll be back with more of the 250 heat race #1 when we return to Houston.
Behind the headlines.
I will suspend any player.
Beyond the highlights. Beneath the surface.
It's a double standard here.
James Stewart out in front of this 250 heat race #1, but close behind the defending THQ AMA Supercross champion Chad Reed, number 22 on the Yamaha. And you see Bubba downshifting in the air over that triple. It's starting to get slippery. They head into that flat left-hand turn.
Getting by a lap snapper there and over that double. Both riders cleanly through it. Now back into the whoop section. The confidence these two riders bring to the whoops is amazing. If anything goes wrong, if their speeds there going through those whoops, it's going to... Oh, and there's a problem for James Stewart.
And he's going to be all over him. Reed with a good drive. Watch him go to the inside, but again, he does not make the pass. I have to think he's saying, all right, let me get your head. I do not want to get by you, because that just kind of gives Bubba more confidence if he's able to get by.
Well, right now, seemingly Chad forcing mistakes from James, diving in inside, showing him the tire consistently on the inside. See if he can find a way.
Cameron, you know the motto. I was going to say, heat races don't win championships. It's the main event where you get those points, and Reed wanted this heat race so bad. He's going to have to clean off that Thor gear one more time this year, and unfortunately for him, he goes down, but he's still...
Oh, James Stewart is down!
And now Stewart goes down as well.
This is right after the Dragon's back, and Kevin Windham is going to go by right now.
I called it.
You did mention Kevin Windham, and look at James Stewart's motorcycle. Look how bent the bars look. The left side bent back. This is going to be a problem for James Stewart. Will he be able to get the bike started? Chad Reed has remounted and is now setting in second place.
Oh, and Reed's trying to adjust some stuff. It looked like he's reaching way down. Let's take a look. First, let's take a look at what happened to Reed.
Reed dives the inside. We talked about the dirt loose on the top, and right there he tries to pull up, and wedges get stuck under the motorcycle. James looks back. He's like, oh, and here we go through the whoops. You can see it off the Dragon's back, and he yard sails off the top of the motorcycle, a bar hop, so to speak, jumps right over. Watch him clip, and he jumps over. A great save by James Stewart Jr., but he's got to get back on the motorcycle. We'll see how it ends up, but good news for Kevin Windham.
Kevin Windham, the leader, the man out of Mississippi, used to live just down the road in Louisiana. This is his home race. He wants to win here. Right now, he's leading this 250cc heat race number 1. Chad Reed in second. Timmy Ferry now moves to third. Sebastien Tortelli in fourth. Travis Preston on the factory Honda back in fifth spot. Only 4 riders transfer, and it's safe to say that James Stewart is not going to be in the main event directly out of the heat race. He's going to have to ride a semi.
He definitely is, and here comes Kevin Windham. Heat race victory. This will give him some momentum.
No fear, Honda takes the win. You know he's got a big smile underneath his helmet. Stewart heads on out of here. He and J-Bone have some work, or J-Bone has some work to do. Chad Reed picks it up, still finishes second. But how about Kevin Windham? K-Dub did not back down. Let the riders make mistakes around him.
He did, and let's not forget, it's a short turnaround time to that semi. So James Stewart and Jeremy Allmark have to get back to that Kawasaki semi and work feverishly quick. They're going to have some work ahead of them.
250 heat race number 1 results. K-Dub, Kevin Windham takes the win. Chad Reed second. Sebastien Tortelli third. And Tim Ferry takes that fourth and final transfer into the main event. James Stewart and the rest of the boys going to have to ride the semifinal. Let's go down to Jamie Little.
Well, guys, Kevin Windham rode up here, and he's like, I don't know what happened. Kevin, what did you see from your perspective? Wow, that was an amazing race.
Well, those guys broke away, and pretty much the only thing I saw was them both laying on the ground. They had already fell by the time I got to them, and that's the way racing goes. It's so exciting, and the competition right now has just got everybody riding over their heads and just going for it. So I'll take it any way I can get it.
Well, where do you fit into this? You know, there's 3 riders everybody's talking about that are just going to go for it. Where do you fit into this main?
I think that leaves me lurking somewhere in the dark, just like I was in that heat. I just got to put myself in the position, try to ride the best I can, and you never know what happens in Supercross.
Boy, if heat race number 2 of the 250s is anything like heat race number 1, this is going to be a good one. Let's take a look at our starting grid. Ricky Carmichael, the 2005 THQ World Supercross GP champion, is in this one.
As is Tyler Evans, and he is in a similar situation to Ricky Carmichael. Tyler Evans can clinch the U.S. Smokeless Tobacco Privateer Award. He gets a trailer from Weekend Warrior, a truck from Nissan, some cash, and Ricky Carmichael, and he both very focused. And Carmichael's wearing the onboard.
Yeah, he wants that Supercross edition Weekend Warrior trailer. Tyler Evans does. Let's take a look at Carmichael, what it looks like through those Oakleys, and a great shot. We've got great shots from him all year long, and I think it's really him or he that set the scene for all the guys wearing the onboard camera, because they used to kind of, not like to do that. If you look at Tyler Evans, he gets that Supercross edition Weekend Warrior trailer, that ramp toy hauler from Giant RV. It's pretty cool. You can tow it behind the Nissan truck, and he also gets to take away some coin, too. I mean, a lot of money is on the line for these guys, even in that Pro Privateer series.
Well, Tyler says he doesn't want factory support. He's doing it for the people. Let's see who gets the whole shot here. And look at Ricky Ricky Carmichael's jump. Can he get on the binders in time? And Evans is down hard. Anything can happen in this chase.
And you know, Damon Huffman and the rest of the guys in second in that privateer challenge, you know that they don't want to see anybody go down, but it does open the door now for him. Ricky Carmichael looking at his onboard. Great shot, Fox Racing. Makita Suzuki dialing in. Let's take a look at some of his lines, Cameron.
Well, he's got the line, and he's got quite a comfortable gap right now on Mike LaRocco, who we've seen on the podium quite a few times this season, followed by last year's THQ World Supercross GP. Oh, look at this. Heath Voss coming short on the quad and then having to stretch it out on the triple. Ooh, a little bit sketchy.
Top four again make it to the main event. This 8-lap heat race. Carmichael, LaRocco, Vuillemin, Voss in fourth, Tyler Evans just in the back. He's a lap down. Those of you checking at home at supercross.cc.com or checking out the live scoring, I'm sure you're starting to see those lap times going, what the heck is going on out here?
And Ryan Clark props out to the Team Solitaire Dragon Rider. Right now he's running a qualifying position, but he is getting passed by David Vuillemin there in the back of your screen.
Another Amsoil Honda rider, and goes down. And going down is LaRocco hard there. The yellow flag comes out. Now it's the 13 of Voss into second. And LaRocco, hopefully everything is all right with him, and he is his best finish on the year, a second place at Anaheim 1, and it looks like he may be just trapped under one of his legs, maybe trapped under the bike a little bit. Hopefully everything's all right for the Rod. That race rages on for second place. Let's take a look at what happened to LaRocco there. I mean, that was a face auger, but what caused it, Cameron?
Well, it looks like he's going into this rhythm section, catches a little bit, and you see he's coming up short, and he just augers in. You can see his shoulder driving straight into the landing. Heath Voss doing a great job not running into one of the heroes of Supercross. Our thoughts are with Mike, and we can only hope the best as the race continues around him.
When we saw that slow motion, you could see him double pump. You could see him pump the bike. He knew he was coming up short. There was really nothing he could do, not under the power at that moment. Ricky Carmichael's out in front of this Fox Racing Suzuki. Jamie Little, I hear you have a very interested observer down there.
Guys, after Chad Reed came off that epic battle with a big crash, he is watching out the sidelines. First of all, Chad, are you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just when I went into the turn, I went to go in there and kind of make a pass, be aggressive, and kind of when I got in there, just realized there wasn't enough room and kind of just opted to crash instead of making contact and paid the price.
What are your thoughts on that battle with Bubba? I know in the first turn, you looked back at him like something had happened on the first turn.
I was kind of sneaking around the outside, and he was kind of power sliding, and I was trying to get in there because I got a bad jump, and we kind of hit. Just kind of looked back and said, I didn't mean it, but sorry. And I felt real good, and then I made a mistake after the whoops, and he got by me, but was able to ride a good race. And wasn't able to get the win, but I was able to qualify.
Hey, Jamie, was he able to learn anything from being behind Bubba there? Did he want to make that pass?
We have a question for upstairs asking, did you learn anything from riding behind Bubba? Any different lines that he's taken from you?
I mean, nothing that I already didn't know, but, he's fast, he's aggressive, and first couple of laps, as long as you stay with him, I feel that, you can stay with him and push him, but, I don't know what happened in the back. I saw it on the replay, but that was a bit of a bad deal for him to crash like that. But he'll be back. He'll be ready for the main event.
Thanks, Jamie. Boy, Cameron, he took that question a little bit different than I was expecting. I'm not trying to figure out if you learned anything new. Did you learn anything that maybe he was doing that he shouldn't be doing? We'll take a look and find out who wins this 250cc heat race number 2 from Houston when we come back. Race number 2 of the 250cc class. You're on board with Ricky Carmichael. I'm Robbie Floyd with Cameron Steele. Cam, man, this has been an amazing race so far tonight.
It has, and Ricky Carmichael continues to lead Voss, and Vuillemin, top 4 will transfer on, but I wonder what Ricky was thinking when he was watching that heat race before, and the guys he's battling with to get on the podium were crashing. He's like, whoa, Windham won, and for everybody at home, good news is Mike LaRocco is up and walking. Look at this cat going underneath, going outside. A little bit of dog fight.
2 factory riders, 2 factory Yamahas going at it. It looked like Voss had the pass. If that was the last lap of the 250 main event, that's not your teammate. I mean, you can get ready for, parking action right now. Vuillemin makes that pass. 4-second spot. Voss drops back to 3rd. It's still Ryan Clark in 4th spot. You see the yellow flags waving. Cautioning the riders that there are riders down, and it's Mike LaRocco who is up and walking around, so hopefully everything is all right with the rod. White flag, we're on the last lap of this 250 heat.
And David Vuillemin, we talked about it at the Seattle round, has yet to land on the podium at Supercross, and he hasn't had a dry year in the 250 class, so...
Now, Vuillemin's best finish is 4th, but he's done it 4 times this year in May to 5th. He needs to turn it up a notch, but only so many guys can win races, Cameron. I mean, and so many guys can make it on the podium. 4 4th-place finishes aren't bad. When you're a factory rider, you're paid to win.
Well, for David Vuillemin, a guy who has multiple wins, you expect him to be up there. Speaking of multiple wins,
Ricky Carmichael takes another heat race victory. We'll have to find out if he had the quickest heat race. I'm sure he did. He kept it on 2 wheels the entire time. The Makita Suzuki is going to take the victory in heat race number 2 here in Houston. And you can see this great track offering a lot of opportunities for passing. David Vuillemin works his way up into 2nd, and he finishes in that order, followed by Voss. 2 factory Yamahas were going at it the entire race.
And the 2 riders going for that Privateer of the Year award, both of them will not make the main event out of the heat. Damon Huffman and Tyler Evans will go to the semi.
All right, let's take a look at our 250cc heat race number 2 results. RC Ricky Carmichael with the victory. Vuillemin, Voss, and Ryan Clark aboard the Honda will move on to the main event. Let's go down to Jamie Little.
Well, guys, I know Ricky Carmichael had the front row seat on that first heat. He knows what his competition has for him tonight, or lack thereof. They need to keep it on 2 wheels. But Ricky has the championship on the line. Ricky, what is your mentality going into this main?
Well, I definitely want to get a good start and stay out of harm's way. You know, you've seen Chad and Bubba. They were riding really good, but they're going so fast that there's a lot of room for mistakes. And I feel good tonight. My heat rate was good. I didn't get to ride as hard as I wanted to because of a down rider.
All right, Ricky Carmichael must get 3rd or better to take home the THQ AMA Supercross Championship. Guys, the update on Mike LaRocco. He knocked himself out a little bit. He was up, he was walking around, but he will not come back to qualify. He's going back to the pits and calling it a night. Bummer for Mike LaRocco, not something we see every week.
Thanks, Jamie. Great report. Unfortunately for Mike LaRocco, he's out of this race. Hopefully we will see him next week at the final in Las Vegas. Now it's time, Cameron, for the MX versus ATV Unleashed track map.
Well, he could be Supercross champ tonight, but right now he's taking you on a ride around this Houston track. That's Ricky Carmichael on the number 4, and there was the quad on the outside, the triple jump, gets through this weird section, and then the whoops. It heads upward off the dragon's back, double it, oh, or clip it. Ricky catch the legs, let's listen to him through the whoops. Yeah, he's got the Makita Suzuki working back to the right across the starting area, and then watch the riders just clip the top so you get over that triple setup, off the triple jump, scrub as much air time as you can, stay low, and then Ricky Carmichael taking you into this rhythm section, right-hand turn, and this one's a little tougher, triple through, and then make a left-hand turn back onto the starting straight, and that is your MX versus ATV Unleashed track lap, and do a big whip when you finish, people.
Smile for the ESPN2 cameras, and you'll get another shot at it next week as we wrap up the 2005 season in Las Vegas, Nevada. The greatest Supercross riders on the planet are going head-to-head one last time next Sunday, May 8th, from Samboy Stadium at noon right here on ESPN2. All right, let's go down to Jamie. She's down in the Kawasaki pits.
Well, guys, after that horrific get-off by James Stewart, he's very sore. His whole body, he said, is so sore, especially his ribs. He had ice packs on him. He's coming out now because he has to come back and qualify for that 250 semi-race. Now, the bike had a lot of damage. The entire thing was bent, including the subframe. His mechanic, Jeremy Albrecht, and the entire Kawasaki crew had a lot of work to be done. But James Stewart is going to persevere and come back out to qualify.
Thanks, Jamie. We'll see if James Stewart makes the main event. And now it's time for our Suzuki strategy. You want to be one of the big dogs in Supercross? You got to get over all the obstacles. Quad it, triple it, nail them all. That's how you become a champion in Supercross. That's your Suzuki strategy.
There's no question James Bubba Stewart will be in the 250 final. Let's look at the GameStop 250 Semi-1 results. Top 5 move on to that final. Stewart, Thomas, Lewis, Fonseca, and Alof. And the Thor 250 Semi number 2. Again, top 5 move on. And the Samsung Wireless 250 LCQ results, Vallejo and Preston are in the main event. Don't go away. The greatest Supercross riders in the world are coming up next for the 250 main event.
Now.
Welcome back to the city that is home to the Houston Rockets, the Houston Texans, and tonight, Reliant Stadium plays host to the THQ World Supercross GP and the THQ AMA Supercross Series. Our second time here in Texas. We expect it to be a great race as we prepare for this 250cc main event. A great crowd on hand. Welcome, everybody. I'm Robbie Floyd with Cameron Steele. Jamie Little down on the floor getting all the scoop. As we take a look at the attendance, 43,000 plus here at Reliant. We're just in the shadows of the old dome, I mean the dome of any sort, the Astro Dome. And you see the young lady on the phone right there. You can text 44600 for free. You can text us your favorite Supercross rider, get some free prizes. And Cameron, you can also get some stuff throughout the year, and they give you updates on the Supercross season as it happens. All right, now let's go down to Jamie Little. She's got our Honda pit report for the night.
Team Honda's Ernesto Fonseca may have been struggling the last few races, getting a 10th place or worse. However, since he came here to America in 1998, he's had a lot of success, including 2 125 championships. Now, Ernie seems to come off a little quiet and unassuming here in the States, but in his homeland, he's a superstar.
There's a lot of soccer players that are known, and a couple swimmers, and I would say that our sport is pretty known there too, so I'm a pretty known person.
Ernesto Fonseca speaks of his home country of Costa Rica, a Central American nation where success is a hard thing to hide, especially when everyone can watch you race on ESPN Deportes.
Yeah, it's pretty funny because, I mean, you know, like you said, you have the ESPN version in Spanish, and a lot of people watch that stuff, and I think that, you know, our population is so small that everybody knows about everything, and we pretty much have like 2 or 3 newspapers that are the biggest ones in the whole country, so it's not really as big of scale as it is in the U.S. But everybody seems to like it. They try to watch the races every way possible, and they enjoy it just as much as they enjoy it here.
So does Fonseca consider himself a role model?
Well, it's kind of hard to say. I mean, maybe I don't really notice it as much, but I know there's a lot of people in Latin America that watch our sport, follow our sport, and a lot of riders too. I mean, in Brazil and Venezuela and Guatemala, all those countries, I know that the rider population is huge, and like I said, I mean, I'm not around those guys as much as I used to, so I don't really know, but I mean, I would love to see somebody come up from any of those countries and do good, and we definitely need some help.
And there he is, Ernesto Fonseca from Costa Rica, now living here in the U.S. He's a great competitor. Let's take a look at our trivia question for the night. When was the last time Suzuki won the 250cc Supercross in Houston? We'll have the answer when we come back and our 250 main. Don't go anywhere. Ricky Carmichael could round out his season with another title and a championship. Stay with us.
Everything you need to run a better business.
Welcome back inside Reliant Stadium. The 250 main event is about to be underway. 20 riders, 20 laps. Well, we asked that trivia question before we went to break. What was the answer? Who was the last 250 Supercross rider on a Suzuki to take a win here in Houston? The answer, Mark Barnett, back in 1983. It's been a long, long time in the coming. Cameron Steele, let's take a look at our Suzuki starting grid for this 250 main event. We have some heavy hitters, maybe some surprises here in Vegas, and maybe the biggest surprise is James Stewart with the bad hole shot, or a bad gate pick, because he had to ride the semifinal.
Indeed, and Ricky Carmichael, all the pressure in the world. He could leave here with his 12th AMA title, and the board is sideways.
Between 5 and 10 seconds, the gate will drop. We'll find out who gets the Butterfinger Chris Hole Shot Award and find out who wins after this 20-lap main.
And Carmichael and Kyle Lewis both with good jumps.
I'm calling Kyle Lewis by a large margin, a bike and a half. Lucky Kyle Lewis with the hole shot. But there he is, Carmichael and James Stewart, second, third. Take Reed in the 4th spot, right number 22 on that Thor Yamaha.
And James Stewart getting right up there to battle. He's going to get past Ricky Carmichael, as is Chad Reed.
What happened to Carmichael there as we're looking on board to Ricky Carmichael? Man, what happened to Carmichael? He drops from 2nd to 4th. It's still Lewis. Stewart, Reed, Carmichael, and Windham, our top guys are out front right now.
And I was going to say, bad news for Carmichael is that Windham is right there in the fray behind him. Ricky Carmichael with their helmet cam, but the way it works out, if Reed does win, Carmichael needs to be on the podium to get that position, the championship, and right there, you saw him showing a wheel to Chad Reed.
And you also saw James Stewart sticking those in, almost taking over the lead, but slingshotting is Kyle Lewis. Lewis looks over. Did you see that little Jeff Ward style from Bubba? James Stewart landed off that triple with his foot down. He's setting him up right here, and Kyle knows it. You look over, but don't do anything crazy. Here comes Reed as well. He opened the door.
And a good job by Kyle Lewis trying to get back in that mix there, trying to push back, but not able to hold position, and now he has moved back to 4th place. Your top 3 are the big dogs. One of the other big dogs coming through in 5th place. That is Kevin Windham.
Woo! James Stewart almost did that wheel tap accidentally right there. Stewart, you know he's riding sore. We saw him. That report by Jamie in the pits. There goes Carmichael to the inside of Reed. Sets him up, not able to do it this time, but Carmichael showing some extreme speed there. Now they're side by side again, Cameron.
Carmichael, great lines in the whoops. Chad Reed, everybody talks about how good he is in the whoops. Ricky Carmichael showing him some there and getting right next to him on the triple. Ricky's got the line. Chad dives inside. We got a race going on.
Yes, we do. Ricky Carmichael goes for it again. You're looking on board.
Oh, it shuts him on the inside.
And seat bounce triples out of the turn. I mean, something very tough to do. And Reed, hey, tell me he doesn't want this.
Reed just diving in there. Ricky making a correction. Look at Ricky. It looked like he was shaking his head almost.
Look at Ricky Carmichael throwing it around Chad Reed. I mean, you know he's fuming underneath that helmet a couple of times. One time a few races back, one that you and Todd did, Reed went down with only, 1-2 turns remaining, I believe. And there goes Carmichael. He takes that inside line. It's going to set up Reed for the pass, and Reed takes over second. And while we're doing this, James Stewart is checking out, boys and girls. You can't even see Stewart in the picture. And there he goes, right to the left.
Going the other direction.
Yeah. All right, Jamie Little, what do you got for us?
Guys, when I was in the Suzuki rig today, the guys were telling me, you know, I think that Yamaha has brought something else to the bike, and it's made Chad a little faster with a little more of an advantage. They said, we have more to bring to our bike, too, but Ricky said, no, I don't want to make any changes at this point. What I have works. It's going to get the job done and get the championship.
Thanks a lot, Jamie. I mean, it's a good call right there. Stick with what you have to set up. Don't do any change. It may make you faster, but it's one of those things. You don't need to win this championship, Cameron.
And that area where James Stewart crashed off the whoops and the dragging back over that double, you can see these two riders are not doing that right now. And usually you would see these two guys being the bigger risk takers in the race along with James Stewart, but those guys aren't doing that right now.
Let's take a look at the interval between James Stewart in 2nd and 3rd place. There's James. I like that. I mean, that is old school Kawasaki Jeff Ward right there. There's Stewart, lap rider, and finally, Chad Reed comes across. Ricky Carmichael still not letting go. He knows if he finishes in this spot, he's going to win another AMA Supercross Championship. So I don't think he's really content. He's just somewhat happy right now. But if something bobbles or a little bobble from Reed, he's able to, pounce on him.
And Chad Reed coming into view, riding for the Thor Parts Unlimited. Scott and Etney's factory back Yamaha, currently holding down that 2nd position, but right now he knows that his championship hopes are dashed if Ricky Carmichael can stay in the position he is in, especially with Bubba up, basically running away with it right now. We don't want to give it away because Chad Reed has had the speed fastest rider in practice, and we know James did go down, might be a factor later on in the main event.
He didn't go down just here. He went down at other tracks as well. I mean, he's been fast enough to be in the front, but he did it in Houston. I mean, he's done it several times, but he is, no question, right now the fastest man out there on the track. He is putting it to the best riders in the world. Chad Reed is trying to play catch-up, really not making any ground. He's almost 4 seconds behind James Stewart. There's the number 4 of Ricky Carmichael back in 3rd, less than a second behind Reed. And coming up short right there, Reed actually stepped up and Carmichael didn't. It looked like Carmichael maybe made a little ground right there.
It did, definitely. And Carmichael's been looking great in the whoops. And, we've talked about him maybe riding a little bit conservative, but tonight it looks like he's really going for it. And he knows as long as he finishes right behind that blue bike, he's got number 1 place.
All right, let's take a look at our Butterfinger Chris Hole Shot Award. Good stuff. start by the outside. I mean, this is a very convincing hole shot by Kyle Lewis. He does it again.
And Ricky Carmichael did a great job as well. But look at Kyle just acing everybody to the line. And Kyle Lewis, known for his hole shots, that Moto XXX Honda getting it done.
Yeah, Kyle Lewis on that Henshaw's Honda O'Neill machine takes his second Butterfinger Chris Hole Shot Award of the year. One of the races I got to call, Orlando, Florida. He did it there as well. Yellow flags waving. You saw the riders having to work their way by. One of the down riders looked like Doug DeHaan as they push his bike over the track. There is Chad Reed. He's in second spot. Carmichael in third. Both of them are chasing James Bubba Stewart. We'll see if he wins when we come back. Welcome back to the Houston Supercross. We're on lap 15 of 20 of this 250 main event, and you're on board with the Makita Suzuki of Ricky Carmichael.
And that quad right there in front of, Ricky Carmichael just tackling it. Not a problem. He's got some lapped riders.
Watch this. Watch that stepping off. Look at that gap where James crashed earlier. That's a long ways. We take a look back at the battle for 7th right now. Ernesto Fonseca is in 6th spot. In 7th spot, I believe, Jason Thomas right around there. There's Kyle Lewis. He dropped back. He had the hole shot earlier on. But there goes Kyle coming across. Kyle in 8th, just behind Jason Thomas.
And Red Dog Timmy Ferry there coming into the picture as well.
JT Money looking good, though, but Red Dog, you're right up there into the top 10. Kevin Windham in 4th spot. He's still a ways behind Ricky Carmichael, though. And really, Chad Reed needs Carmichael to finish outside the top 3, and actually Reed needs to turn it up too. Carmichael cannot lose 5 points, and right now it's only 2 points between Carmichael and Reed. K-Dub, Kevin Windham, I was expecting him to be in a top 3 for sure tonight. He does so well. He won 2 125 races here. Never won a 250 main event. I was kind of surprised. I thought he had, but he'd won 2 times aboard the factory Yamaha back in his 125 days. There's the battle for 7th. Jason Thomas, Kyle Lewis, and Timmy Ferry. Timmy Ferry trying to get by. I mean, you want to talk about being plagued with injuries. That's Ferry these past couple of years.
And you can see he's still taping up the wrist out in the pits. I was talking to him. He said he's feeling good. Bike was running great. He had some problems in the first practice, and they said he got it figured out. And he's like, it went so fast in the second practice, I had to figure out how to ride it again. You see him looking to the outside there, looking for a position on Kyle Lewis. And Tim Ferry going right on through on the inside. So Timmy Ferry makes the move, jumping up into 7th place. Kyle Lewis moving backwards. Into 8th place.
And what
Kyle Lewis back to 9th.
What a surprise for Timmy Ferry. I mean, if I would have said coming into the season that his best finish would be this position, I mean, I would never have thought it. His best finish on the year is a 9th. I mean, that's crazy. He's done it twice this year. But Timmy Ferry, a top caliber rider, hopefully he's healthy now and getting ready. There is your leader, James Stewart. In a great note that the guys, put together for us. I read it on Racer X as well. Since James Stewart has been racing the 250 series after his injury, the man with the most points has actually been Chad Reed. I mean, Bubba's been fast, but it was Reed who's had the most points. It's Bubba who has been 2nd and Carmichael in 3rd, but everybody talks about how fast Bubba's been since he's been back, but it's Reed who's actually been the more consistent, faster rider.
Well, Chad Reed racing and trying to gather points in that time, trying to keep his championship hopes alive, so he had most to lose, so to speak. Obviously, Ricky Carmichael did as well, but Ricky, the smart racer, is not afraid to let Chad get out in front of him as long as he can maintain that championship. But you know what this sets up, folks? This sets up the Battle Royale in Las Vegas.
B-Town.
If Ricky can win this championship, that means that Bubba, Chad, Ricky, and Kevin Windham all come in with nothing to lose and just go for it. Bar banging, Supercross excitement. It's going to be a long track, too. I'm hearing some really long lap times possible there.
James Stewart trying to get by Jason Thomas. Thomas in 7th. That's how far he's lapped up to. And James Stewart, I mean, his last lap was a 51.6. He's still turning fast lap time. Reed had a 51.1, so a half a second faster. But let's look at Ricky Carmichael back in 3rd. He's doing exactly what he needs to do to win his 2nd championship of the year. He already has the THQ World Supercross GP in the back pocket, and if he stays where he's at right now and Reed stays where he's at, he's going to win the THQ AMA Supercross Series Championship, and nobody has won both of those titles, the THQ World Supercross GP and the THQ AMA Supercross Series in the same year, Cameron, so a special feat if Carmichael can hold on to position. We're on the last lap of this 250 main event. James Stewart is out in front. Ricky Carmichael's in third, doing what he has to do. His 4th Supercross title, AMA Supercross title. This is his victory lap on what is a great year so far, and he still has the Motocross Nationals. He's having fun right now, Cameron Steele.
Big whip, and I was really surprised to see how hard Ricky was pushing in those early laps to battle with Chad Reed. I think maybe let up just a little bit, and he's going to take the championship. But like we said, ladies and gentlemen, tune into Las Vegas. It is going to be a shootout.
Yes, it is. Not only the 125 shootout, but the 250 shootout. Here we go. Taking his 3rd victory on the year, makes the right-hand turn. The Fox Racing Oakley Factory Kawasaki of James Stewart takes another 250 victory on the season. 2nd spot is going to go to Chad Reed, number 22, and Ricky Carmichael, RC. Roger DeCoster, his team manager, has been waiting so long, and he put all the money in the bank and a no-footed can to do it. It's been 23 years since Suzuki has won an AMA Supercross Championship. Carmichael does it here tonight. We'll talk to Ricky Carmichael when we come back. You can see how stoked he is. Stick with us.
Behind.
Welcome back to Houston, the THQ World Supercross GP and the THQ AMA Supercross Series. And there's the man, Roger DeCoster, giving a hug to his favorite rider in the world, his favorite person in the world, Ricky Carmichael, as he has clinched his 2nd championship of this 2005 season. Let's take a look at our Honda results for this 250 main event. It was James Bubba Stewart with a victory, his 3rd on the year. Chad Reed, Ricky Carmichael, Kevin Windham, hard-fought battle, dropped back to, or picked his way through to the 4th spot. Let's go down to Jamie Little, who's on the victory podium.
Well, guys, Chad Reed gave it his all this entire season. Chad, looking back, if there was one particular thing you could have changed, what was it?
You know, you always look forward and try not to, you know, try and change things. But for sure, I would change Anaheim 1. You know, just I was chasing my tail from the 1st race, and it made it tough. And Ricky had a great season, and you know, you can't take it away from him. He did what he had to do at the beginning to get it, and you know, towards the end, I felt like I was getting better, and, you know, he was kind of off his game a little, but tonight I just wanted to get a win, you know, just, I knew Kevin wasn't on his game like he had been, and I knew that I had to just get a win and have fun with it, and Ricky just was playing cat and mouse games there, you know. I couldn't go anywhere without him coming up the inside, and Bubba got away, and so...
All right, Cameron, what's our Nissan turning point of the 250 main?
Well, it's definitely got to be the number 259, James Bubba Stewart, making the move early on Kyle Lewis. He goes to the lead. It's lights out for everybody else, and that's your Nissan turning point here in Houston. Now let's go down to Jamie Little with our winner.
Well, mixed in with those smiles and grimaces, James Stewart finds his way to the top of the podium. Again, we saw how hard you got up, how much pain you were in. Bubba, what in the world drives you? When you come into a stadium, you're like a different person.
Yeah, you know, I was actually sitting back at a Cali truck and figuring out if we're going to race or not, because, you know, I'm having a hard time trying to breathe out there. And I got dizzy in the semi, and, you know, it's just hard. You know, I dislocated my rib and just having a hard time breathing, but I don't know what happened. Just went over handlebars, but came out here, and, you know, the team was really behind me either way the decision I had, and there was no excuses tonight. I passed both of them, Ricky, Chad, and they was right there for 20 laps, so I finished strong, but it was definitely tough. So no excuses next weekend. He has the championship wrapped up, and let's see what happens.
James Stewart's 3rd career win. Guys, I think the fans have something to do with the way this boy rides.
James is smiling now, but how about this upcoming weekend in Las Vegas, Nevada, the final Supercross race of the year? It's going to be a showdown. The road leads to Las Vegas, and you can check us out Sunday, May 8th for the final show. You heard James say, there's no excuses, baby. It's going to be a throwdown, the last race of the year. We hope you can join us, MGM Grand Sam Boyd Stadium. You better be there. If not, you better tune in. Here's the way the points are broken down for THQ World Supercross GP and THQ AMA Supercross Series. Let's go down to Jamie Little with a new AMA Supercross champion.
Guys, Ricky Carmichael was 2 years old when Suzuki won their last 250 Supercross Championship. Tonight, he is the man. He made the dreams reality. Here to do the honors of the #1 plate, Steve Whitelock from the AMA.
Ricky, 15 podiums, 7 victories. What a way to come back to Supercross. Congratulations. for the AMA THQ Supercross Championship. Thanks a lot, boy.
And the 4th Supercross Championship on a 250. Ricky, you made it happen.
I did. You know, it's been a long journey. I didn't think probably anybody but my team and my crew around me thought that I could win this title. And you know what? I did it, and I got this #1 place, and I'm happy. It was a great night. You know, I felt good in the main event. I put up a little fight there with Chad at the beginning, and yeah, I got by him, and then he kind of went in on me, and I just said, you know what? Go ahead, my man. It's all yours. I'm going to bring home the bacon, and that's what I did. I can't thank enough for Makita Suzuki for believing in me when I had my leg propped up last year, and I could be here all night. I'll keep it short for the people at TV. Thank you, all the fans, my sponsors. You guys are awesome. This is right here is what it's all about.
Woo! Ricky Carmichael, 7 wins on the season, guys. 9 if you include the 2 World Supercross rounds. He is our champion.
Suzuki's long 250 Supercross drought is over with. James Stewart goes down in the heat race, but picks it up and wins in convincing fashion in the 250 main.
Remember, you can always listen to it live at supercross.cc.com, and don't forget the online magazine, Inside Dirt.
That's it for us here in Houston. For Cameron and Jamie, I'm Robbie Floyd. We'll see you in Las Vegas. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Ricky Carmichael, the 2005 champion.